So, hello and welcome to this short video guide for GPs who want to orientate themselves with the Emis Web IT package. I'm going to talk you through the basics that will hopefully allow you to get through a surgery without too much stress if you're unfamiliar with this IT system. What you can see currently is the main sort of consultation or history screen for a fictitious patient Daffy Duck, and across this bar you've obviously got some information, basic information about the patient. If you click a little down arrow there next to the patient's name, then you'll see some more details like their address and contact details, and there's also often notes about the next of kin or other relatives. Across the top we'll come to some of these icons in time, and right at the very top of the screen you've got some very small icons which are like hotkeys, sort of shortcuts, which you'll become familiar with, and I'll talk about those as well. In order to add a consultation, so you're seeing the patient, you click the big plus sign that says add under it, and you get the main history screen. I'll just get rid of that little message. And then what I tend to do with each patient is then click on problem, history, examination and comment, and then you've got your 4 areas where you're going to free text in your the reason the patient's come, and the history, examination, and your conclusion or management. When you've done that, then there's a big save button in the top left there. You click on that to save your consultation. In order to see what's come before, you can click on consultations, the word up here, and that takes you back to your chronology of the patient, and by scrolling down then we're going backwards in time, where you'll see what previous doctors or nurses etc. have entered about the patient. So for perhaps before you see the patient or during, you're going to want to see what the salient medical problems are, and for that we'll use the first of the icons, which is a red flag, and you're hovering over that, the word problems appears. So if we click on the red flag, you get the list of patient's medical issues, and that's divided into active problems, and then significant past problems and minor past problems. So these are where all your read codes are going to go. With Emis Web, when you add a consultation, if I go back to that and say the problem you put as hypertension, then the read codes are appearing automatically, and you can click on the appropriate one, whether it's a new diagnosis etc. or a follow-up and this sort of thing. If I double click on essential hypertension, then I've got my problem there, and then I would free text my history etc. It's useful to know about this button for the purposes of coding accurately. If you click on the review button, then it'll prompt you to state whether it's a new episode of essential hypertension or a review. There's also a flare-up and this sort of thing, so that obviously has coding consequences. So I'll just get rid of that by cancelling the consultation. Of course, one of the most basic things we need to be doing is prescribing, and to do that there's a tab here called medication. So by clicking on that you see what meds they're on, and that's divided into acute medications, and down here is what's on repeat. So to prescribe a drug, you click the Add Drug button up here, and you get a screen that looks a bit like this. And then obviously by free texting in a drug, so ramipril, and you get some suggestions here. Some warning box, and again some suggestions of what to instruct the patient to do. So just click on that, or you can free text the dosage obviously. And you've got quantity, whether it's an acute, or if you click down you can change to a repeat. And when you're happy, let's say we're going to give a month of ramipril 2.5, you can click issue at the bottom. So I'll just get rid of that for now. Again, going back to our history or consultation screen, you just click on consultations. The other things you're going to want to be able to do obviously are to perhaps look at some letters that we've had about this patient. So here we've got the Documents tab. So if you click on that, and you get a great, this is a chronological list of all the letters that are either going from the practice out or having been received back from secondary care, say. And you can just double click on these letters to see them, to see the content. To make a referral or to generate a letter, then we're in our Documents tab, and if you again click Add here, and then Create Letter, you get a list of your favourites, if you like, the things you've been doing, and you click down to select which service you're going to write to, and you can also click on the magnifying glass to free text in a service, and it'll find it for you. So moving on to thinking about investigations. So we've got a tab up here, Investigations. If we click on that one, then again we get this chronological list of data that's been entered about the patient, and it's useful to be aware. So this is a if you put, say, his weight is down here, you click on it, it says recorded as 65 kilograms, and on this side we've got a list of any other entries that have been made in the past with regard to his weight. So we've got a nice idea of what's been happening there. And obviously scrolling down, there's more and more data there. It's also where things like Q risk is stored, or MMSE scores, this sort of thing. In order to add investigations, and here really I'm thinking about to generate a blood test. Again, if you click Add whilst in the Investigations tab, you've got these things down here, and moving down to Test Request, if you click on that, and then Online Test Request, here you're going to go to your I believe it's the ICE pathology screen, which you're probably familiar with, to generate a blood form. Things like imaging, this is done via the Documents tab actually, so again, to click onto that, and then your Add button, you go to Create Letter, and here we've got an imaging request form, so for an X-ray or etc., then you click on that one and just go through it. just to talk a little bit more about some of these icons up here, just so that we don't give away any details of genuine patients coming today to the surgery. I won't click through them all, but this is a back arrow which takes you back to the previous screen. Here you've got home, which takes you back to the home screen with Emis. This icon is a how to send a screen message. I think this works well on this IT system, where you can select a colleague to send, or multiple colleagues to send a screen message to. The figure of a head and shoulders with a magnifying glass is how to search for a patient. This clipboard is a task, so again, that works quite well, it seems, in the Emis Web system, how to send tasks to colleagues. The calendar and clock there is your appointment book, so that will show you which patients are booked with you today or on other days. And then the two figures, that's going back to your consultation screen. So you can navigate either using these icons, or I think for most things using the words as well. I'll show you just briefly this. So again, that looks like a calendar, it's the diary, and that's showing you the various sort of recalls and planned items that, so outstanding blood tests that the patient hasn't had done, or appointments coming up, that sort of thing. And the eye icon stands for investigation, so that takes us back to the screen we've looked at already. And the capsule there is for back to the medication screen. Just a comment more about prescribing. If you want to reissue a drug that's on the medication board, you can click on it, right click and then press issue, or just click on it to highlight it and press this button up here, issue. And yeah, by having a bit of a play with that, you'll I think find it fairly straightforward. The Apple's your patient.co.uk sort of patient information leaflets. I tend to do that by, when you've coded a problem, then I should have pointed out to you, on the right hand side of the screen you're getting the prompts if you want to print out some information for the patient to take away. It's very useful. A word about Med3 forms. You've got your icon in the whilst you're in the consultation, you've got an icon here, add fit notes, so you click and new issue, not fit for work, etc. Again, in the consultation screen, run template is a button you'll use periodically, so clicking on that, again you get a list of sort of favourites, so for entering data about Q risk and flu vaccines in flu season and that sort of thing, you just select your template and it'll go to, let you enter your data. So I think that's about all I'd say for now. I hope that's helpful to get you through your first experiences with Emis Web. Thanks very much for listening.